Hello and welcome to the Link Sports Show. I'm James Ardley and joining me today in the studio are Link Sport reporters Kieran Hymas and Liam Gibbs. We start with Lincoln City, who will want to extend their run to 13 games unbeaten. They face out of form Maidstone United. The Imps host Maidstone, having beat top of the league Forest Green Rovers and League 2 dropouts York City in the space of a week. Carly was respectful of the away team, stating that their quick climb of the leagues has really impressed him.
Maidstone have done well away from home. They've had a good record. You know, Jay Saunders is someone that we know well. We speak to regularly. He's a really good guy. He's done a fantastic job there. It's a great story, really. Maidstone kind of reborn really as a club. 2012 they relocated back to Maidstone, new ground, Gallagher Stadium, and I think they've had three promotions since then. All marshalled by Jay, so credit to him because that was his first managerial job, and Maidstone are in the Kent area, a big club, carry a big crowd with a big expectation, and he's managed to cope with all of that and produce competitive teams year after year after year. Every time they've got promotion, he's been able to add and improve the squad to compete at the right end of the next division, and he deserves an awful lot of credit for that. And this year they've started well. They've had some good wins. Beat Chester away, beat Torquay away, I think North Ferriby away, Boreham Wood away. So they're a good team away from home. They've got good on the counter attack, lots of pace, and we'll have to be right at the top of our game if we want to get on the right side of it.
They're unbeaten in 12 now. Are Maidstone likely to be number 13?
Well, they're looking full of confidence at the moment, aren't they, Lincoln? 7 goals in the last 2 games, 2 really good away wins, especially at Forest Greens. Some really good character to come back from 2-0 down late on. That'll do wonders for the confidence in Danny Cowley's dressing room. Yeah, hopefully they can make it 13 on Saturday.
I mean, I agree, but as much as York haven't been at great form recently, you've got 2 big teams there. There's League 2 dropouts and you've got Forest Green top of the table. This is the first kind of scrapping team that they're going to have to face. And I'd like to think that after that they wouldn't almost see it as a little bit of a break. They're going to have to go into it full of confidence, obviously great wins, but they're also going to have to make sure they don't be complacent. But I don't think they will. I think it should be a fairly straightforward clash and they should be able to get the points.
Assuming that Arnold and Anderson are fit, how vital are these two?
Well, they offer something different, don't they? They offer a bit more width, and I think that's something that Matt Rhead in particular can thrive off. Anderson and Arnold can get crosses into the box, and that means Rhead can try and get his head on it or knock it down for others, advancing midfielders, to go and knock it into the back of the net. So I think they offer something really good for Danny Cowley's side.
I mean, in their best form, they're outstanding players, and they're some of the best in the league. They are 2 different ends of the spectrum. You've got one really inexperienced player that can give a lot of energy, a lot of fitness. He can give a lot of new ideas to the team, and then you've got Arnold, who knows how to get out of this league. He's experienced, he can lead the kind of boys like Anderson. So to have them both back in the squad would be fantastic. It would definitely help the squad overall, add the characters in, and it would definitely, with a lot of close games that they've had a Tuesday and a Saturday, it'll definitely help to have them back.
Kieran just mentioned there, Nathan Arnold got out of this league last year with Grimsby, and I think that'll be vital going forward for Lincoln, to have someone of that know-how who knows how to get promoted out of the National League for them in the rest of the season.
You talk about know-how. How important that Matt Rhead has found his feet recently in terms of scoring?
It is. Well, he's a big player for them, isn't he? A lot of times last season he was sort of on his own up front, and he was left to do a lot of the legwork up top. This time he's got Theo Robinson playing up front with him this season as well, and some others as well. And I think it's just helped Matt Rhead as well. He's just relaxed a little bit, and he's scoring some good goals as well. It's not he's a big lad, Matt Rhead, and he's scoring some really good goals. His overhead kick last season, for example, and so another deft chip the other week. So he's scoring different types of goals as well, and I think that's what you want from a striker.
I mean, with a striker like Matt Rhead, who's got a lot of... He's very well known within the club. He's scored goals in the past. He's going to come into every season with a lot of pressure on him to score the goals. So to be able to settle down and start scoring now, you'd hope that he wouldn't stop. And he's a really impressive player. To be able to... He is a big lad, but he can manoeuvre his body in the way that would use it to his advantage. There's a lot of players out there that have that kind of strength but don't know how to use it. But he really does display great prowess in his role.
He brings others into play really well too.
The Imps had a convincing win away at York on Tuesday, beating the home side 4-1. Carly was really impressed by the result, but also by the fan support.
Pleased with the results, certainly. pleased with about 80 minutes of the performance Tuesday night. It was a good response. We were really pleased with the response after Saturday, after getting such a great win Saturday. It was crucial that we backed it up, and credit to the players. I thought the levels they got to on the Tuesday night was excellent. Some of our doubters would have expected an after the Lord Mayor's show performance, and we were really determined to keep our standards, and I thought we did that, and massively helped by the supporters. You know, to come out and see that many supporters behind the goals supporting us was fantastic. And we said beforehand, you know, we wanted to match their endeavours. We know how hard it is for them after a hard day's work to make their way to York. So we wanted to match their endeavours. And
as you mentioned, a crowd of over 1,000. How does that help?
Well, to see 1,000 travelling Imps fans packing out that terrace at York, it's got to be a boost for them, hasn't it? A lot of the Imps fans would have come up from a hard day at work, travelling up to York, not the easiest of journeys, but to do that and to take 1,000 is really good. And it shows the belief that Danny Cowley's instilled, not just in the squad, but throughout the whole club.
And that's the thing for me. This is a team that wants to go on. They don't want to just get second and get into the playoffs. They want to go on there and get automatic. And the fact that it's not just the players now that believe it, it's the fans are obviously starting to believe it. That's got to mean the world to the players, and it'll make sure that they keep going. They keep remembering that they are in that position, that they can get to that position because they've got 1,000 people behind them that all want them to.
How much closer towards the title does that win over Forest Green give Lincoln City?
Well, I think it helps massively, doesn't it? It's closed the gap on Forest Green. Lincoln, of course, with that game in hand that they had on Forest Green, we're looking to really close that gap. I think Forest Green will still be favourites for the title. You look at the squad that they've got on paper, and they've been there or thereabouts for the past few years. But Lincoln will fancy their chances, and Danny Cowley's, as we've mentioned, has put belief into the squad and through the whole club, and they'll be right on their coattails for the rest of the season. You can be sure of that.
I mean, it's 4 points now. It was one of those games where if Lincoln didn't win, that was it for me. They weren't going to win the title. They weren't going to get automatic promotion.
It was set as a 6 pointer.
Exactly. But now it's at the same end of a different end of the spectrum. They're only 4 points off now, especially after the win against York as well. So it was a huge game. It was a 6 pointer, and they've come out on top, and it was great. You know, great comeback. Like well played to them. I didn't see it coming at all. And like Liam says, that's just the belief that Cowley's instilled. And if that carries on for the end of the season, Forest Green has got something to worry about.
Indeed. Cowley emphasised their focus on always improving, which was backed up by the introduction of apps to the club. The Imps boss has found an app that allows him to replace his tactics board.
Will allow us to slightly change the way we do our team talk, so moving away from maybe a tactics board to an app. Probably 0.5% maybe, but it hopefully will improve the way we can communicate to the players. So we're always looking for ways to try to improve what we do, and that's the environment we want.
Moving on to Lincoln United now, and it's been a good week for the Whites. It started with a 4-1 league win against Greasley on Saturday, and then United beat Stamford 1-0 in the Integro League Cup on Tuesday evening. The Whites travel to National League North side Kidderminster Harriers in the fourth qualifying round of the FA Trophy tomorrow. So guys, it's going to be a tough test for Lincoln United. How do they overcome the side?
Well, it is going to be a tough test for them. Kidderminster, of course, 2 levels above, but it's a nice ground. Kidderminster just come down from the National League. I'm sure Sam Wilkinson's side are going to be relishing the occasion. They'll take mixed emotions, I think, into having faced 2 higher league sides earlier this season. Kidderminster in the same league as Nuneaton, who Lincoln beat in the FA Cup in their run, so they take confidence from that, but they'll also want to forget having played Spennymoor, because they didn't really turn up that day, and that was a bit of a shame.
How do they distance themselves from that result, would you say?
Well, they've gone on another good run since. They're unbeaten in a while now, and I think that's probably gone out of their system, but they've also got to remember Nuneaton, whilst having Spennymoor out of their mind.
I mean, you know, apart from that game, they've had a great cup run. You know, they've been performing really well, and they've made great additions into the squad. Sam obviously knows where he needs to strengthen. He's been proactive, so I think that he'll go into this tie and give it a good go. They've obviously won 2 on the trot now. They've picked up performances, and I think they'll fancy the chances. Obviously Kidderminster dropped out of that league last season, so they're not going to be the best in morale. So why not try and take advantage?
They're in good form, aren't they? So if they instill that belief, do you reckon they can get a result?
It's always possible, yeah. You don't know how highly the FA Trophy will rank amongst Kidderminster's priorities. So if they rest a couple of players maybe, and there's no reason why Lincoln can't go there and pick up a win and go through to the next round and potentially face a City in the next round, which would be a real coup for them. But they are in good form. Won 2 games in the last week as well. It's just starting to tighten up at the back a little bit. They kept another clean sheet in the League Cup on Tuesday, so I don't see why they can't go there and get a win.
No. It'd be a very special occasion if the two met, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah. We were all hoping that it was going to happen in the FA Cup, as it was Guiseley with the one ball that separated the meeting. But it'd be nice if it could happen.
Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you to Kieran and Liam. Make sure you tune in next week for all the latest local and national sports news. Until then, you can follow us on Twitter @LinkSport. Let us know what you thought of the show. Goodbye.